Alright, welcome back. Let's continue. Order, I say. Prosecutors, what do you have to say to this? I can see that the robot is about the same size as a child. But it cannot grab its knees or curl itself up into a ball. If it was the largest of the cases, the robot wouldn't possibly fit in there. It's just coming about the mid-thigh and Prosecutor Blackpool. I see your point. The robot is much taller than that. You got me there. So, then Prosecutor Blackpool make Pongo put into the case by dismantling? Of course Pongo would fit. All Prosecutor Blackpool had to do was dismantle her. Once taken apart, the robot could have easily fit inside that rolling case. It appears to be a robot assembly device. This will be anything in a flash. Put the dismantle button. It sounds pretty neat. Can I push it, Mr. Nick? No, you can't. It sounds rather violent, but Mr. Wright does have a point here.
Objection!
Except that there was a body on the table where the robots were dismantled and assembled. There would have been no room to take the robot apart.
Objection!
But what if it wasn't done on the table? What if the katana was used instead? You mean the sword? Yes, Your Honor. Miss Blackwell, I'd like your opinion as a woman of science. Is it true that either kind can be used to take a robot apart? I suppose so. The joints aren't made of a very tough material. A blade could slice through them. Thank you, your expert opinion, Miss Blackwell. Thanks to you, we now know. The existence of severed arm in this photo proves that Blanca was taken apart. In addition, since the rest of Blanca was not found at the scene, we can conclude that the true meaning of this photo is very different from the original interpretation. You can't mean... That's exactly what I mean. This photo does not capture the moment of the murder. Instead, the picture of the moment after the robot was sliced apart. The blood you see where the arm was cut off was transferred there by the bloody katana. Most likely, the rest of Ponko was scattered around Prosecutor Blackwell's feet. Not hearing this. Therefore, was transported inside that case not the defendant, but a robot. This like was never at the scene at the time of the murder. My head, my body, where am I? Ah! Order in the court. It's true that Ponko was found in pieces after the murder. And I'll admit I repaired her myself afterwards. Yes, finally making some progress. Hopefully I've gotten at least one step closer, proving both Athena and Prosecutor Blackwell innocent.
Objection!
Oh, you're doing the thing. Well played, Mr. Wright. You made your point abundantly clear. I could see that wasn't that defendant inside the rolling case, but the robot. Alright, what's going on here? It's never good when he plays things this straight. Prosecution withdraws claim the defendant was carried from the scene. No, Your Honor, my claim hasn't changed.
Objection!
But Miss Ponko and Miss Sykes could have both been inside that case.
Objection!
The notion that the case was used to carry Miss Sykes was Miss Blackwell's theory. I've been of a different opinion from this outset. I finally have the opportunity to voice my theory. Thanks to the defense. Edgeworth. It's been one step ahead of me this whole time. Okay, so how do you propose the defendant left the crime scene? Simple, the footage only shows Prosecutor Blackpool behind. What's more, he's holding his arm in front of his body, as if you're holding something or someone. That's hardly evidence. I have proof. The surcoat Prosecutor Blackpool was wearing. The victim's blood was found in the front of it, and the stain had a highly distinctive shape. A blood stain with the distinctive shape. Please continue, Prosecutor Edgeworth. 7 years ago, the defendant was someone constantly wear a certain item, of which there was only one in the world. A special pair of headphones made just for her. She always wore these big, heavy-looking headphones. She said her mother made them for her as part of her research. As so, the blood stain being the exact same shape as these headphones. In other words, there's no near blood spatter. Blood went from the victim's body to the headphones, and then was imprinted on the Prosecutor Blackpool's coat like a stamp. Most gruesome stamp indeed. Oscar Blackwell carried Miss Sykes, who had been hit by splatter, away from the crime scene. As soon as Athena Sykes was without question present at the crime scene. And that concludes the prosecution's argument. Order. The defendant was indeed at the scene and deepened suspicion against her.
Objection!
But we've also the robot was there at the scene as well.
Objection!
Hope you're not making the ridiculous claim that a simple robot was the real murderer. I don't really think that, no, but you can't say the possibility isn't there. Detective Fulbright, as a robot questioned at the time. No, I don't see any record of it. I believe it was considered unrelated to the case. As it turned out, the robot is actually integrally related. Your Honor, the defense would like to call Ponko to the stand. A robot witness? Order in the court. Oscar Edgeworth, what do you think about this? Mr. Wright has called all manner of witnesses to the stand over the years. So I'm not a robot. Nothing surprises me anymore with him. Yeah, we called the parrot once. That was fun. Very well, we'll allow the witness. Bailiff, please summon the robot named Ponko. Is Ponko gonna have memory from this time, or? Witness, please state your name and occupation. My name is not witness! My name is Ponko! Yes, I realize that, but when you're at the witness stand, you are the witness. No, I'm not! I'm Ponko! Say it with me! Ponko! What an utterly inflexible little robot. You're the latest person to be calling anybody inflexible. Ah, you remind me of a grandchild who just learned his own name. Oh, how precious. Alright, Ponko, I'm gonna ask you some questions. Questions? You have questions? Hooray! What are your questions? I want to know if you were there at the scene of the murder of Miss Sykes. It was 7 years ago, on the 7th of October, at around 2 p.m. in the robotics lab. Certainly. Just one moment. Searching data. Search complete. Yes, I was there at the robotics lab. It seems this robot's testimony isn't necessary in this case after all. This is great. This new Ponko must have seen something important. Murder committed right before this poor girl's lies. This is inexcusable. And Jill seems ready to adopt Ponko as another grandchild. So, little Ponko, do you think you can give us your testimony today? What I saw, okay. Went to the robotics lab around 2 for my regular recharge. Just as I was about to charge up, Athena came in and hugged Tommy Metis. Then Mary Metis fell down. After that I was charging, so I don't know anything. After I charged up, I was cleaning the room and Mr. Simon came in. And then error occurred. There's no data after that point. Well, it sounds like the defendant was, without question, at the scene. However, it doesn't appear that the witness saw the actual moment of the murder. I disagree. This testimony shows that the defendant did indeed commit the crime. What? At the end of the day, we mustn't forget that the witness is still a machine. Being a robot, his understanding and capacity to express himself are limited. So what are you suggesting? Witness' statements need to be interpreted. For example, the terms hugged and then later fell down. They also don't usually fall down after being hugged by a child. They don't, but... Yes, what those statements are telling us is... The defendant stabbed the victim with the murder weapon during this moment. What? Whoever Sykes hugged Dr. Sykes, did the two of them converse? Yes, they did. They spoke to each other very loudly, but I don't know what they said. Dana's usually so quiet, so I was surprised. Spoke very loudly. We can interpret that to mean they argued. I see. Murder after heated argument, and the victim fell down. It really does sound like a reasonable interpretation. However, Ponko doesn't seem to remember anything that's happened after that. When I'm recharging, I go into sleep mode. I remember everything before that. I have a very good memory. Maybe we'll admit defeat now, right? Cross-examination would be useless. Don't be ridiculous. Cross-examination is never useless. Until now. Think about it. Robots don't lie. This robot is both an important witness and very relevant at the same time. Nevertheless, I'll have my cross-examination. I see you haven't changed. You never one to worry about wasting time. Very well, it may be a waste of time. You may proceed, Mr. Wright. I'll show you both just how fruitful any cross-examination can be. Even if it is a robot. I cross-examined a parrot once. It went well. Kinda. Went to the lab. Tina came in and hugged. Okay. Yes. Hugged her, huh? Which Shidra took to mean stabbed her with a weapon. So the two of them were talking before Miss Sykes hugged her mother, is that right? Yes, they were talking very loudly, but I couldn't tell what they were saying. Couldn't tell. Even though they were speaking so loudly. I'm only allowed to listen to voices that are directed at me. If I listened to every voice, it would be a little better than a mobile eavesdropper. Well, that explains why some of Paco's testimony is so vague. It's a shame that our little friend wasn't listening in, however. We could have learned what they were talking about just before Dr. Sykes was killed. Now then, what happened after that? She fell down. I don't want to delve too deeply here, but... Can you tell us how the victim appeared and acted at this moment? My Mantis was very surprised when she was hugged. I heard her heart pound. Her heart? Sir, have you forgotten about this document we found in the robotics lab? The robots have a heartbeat detection system. Now that he mentions it, I do remember reading something like that there. They detect presence of people by the sound of their heartbeats. But wait 1 minute, that means... Dr. Sykes really did die at this moment. Paco, how was Dr. Sykes after she fell down? Could you still hear the sound of her heartbeat? Let's see, the moment she fell, her heartbeat was pounding. Until that, I don't know. I started recharging just then. Of all the lucky timing, if you heard anything after that, it possibly proves that the hug was actually the moment of murder. I'm very sorry, I'm afraid I don't know. I'm very sorry. It was designed to go into sleep mode automatically, so it can't be helped. It does appear they detected an increased heart rate at the moment of the stabbing. At the moment this heart started pounding in surprise, he fell by the window. It was the round window, on the workbench side of the room. The workbench, huh? Paco must be talking about that table on the right of where the giant robot is now. There's something critical in Paco's statement just now? Yes, very. Your Honor, I believe the statement is critical. I'll get it to your testimony. Very well. Paco, would you please add that statement to your testimony? That's a good little girl. I will posit you, if that is the moment of the murder, how, unless Simon helped cover up the murder, how did her body get over there?
Objection!
Paco, your statement may have just inspired a breakthrough. I was hopeful. Hooray! I'm so happy! Just to be sure, let's go over it again, okay? The victim fell near the window on the workbench side of the room. However, her body was discovered on the operating table. But the operating table and the workbench are two different locations. Exactly, Your Honor. We just learned a crucial new fact. Would explain the two very different locations of the body. I'll tell you what. The victim moved. The 11-year-old girl couldn't have moved the heavy body of an adult. The only explanation is the victim walked to the operating table herself. In other words, Paco was observed near the workbench. Couldn't have possibly been the moment of the murder. Ew, I'm very relieved to hear that. I know that the murder wasn't committed in front of a little Paco here. Yes, as we just heard in the testimony, Miss Sykes hugged her mother, nothing more.
Objection!
Yeah, I don't think you're buying this, huh? Right. It's been 8 years, but you're still just as green as ever. Green? But I can't recall ever seeing Mr. Wright anything but a blue suit. Hey, blue's my favorite color. What can I say? The defendant couldn't move the body herself. She could have had it moved for her. Moved for her, but Miss Sykes and Dr. Sykes are the only ones there. I agree. Since this robot is equipped with a heartbeat detection system, we've been aware of another person's presence if someone else had been there. We can therefore conclude that the defendant and the victim were the only ones present. Then please just move the body. Don't you know it's in the nature of a robot to help people do things? Mrs. Ponko, let me ask you a question. My name is Ponko! Say it with me! Ponko! I believe you said you were cleaning up after Miss Sykes fell down. You happened to move something large onto the operating table. Yes I did. Athena asked me to. Athena asked you to? What did you move, little Ponko? I don't know. Unless something has an ID tag, I can't tell what it is. ID tag, you say? Yes, a tag with a barcode on it. Your robot's scanning to tell us what the thing is. That paper in the lead did mention something about that. Organizes people by scanning their spacesuit or uniform jacket ID tag, it said. So it's clear that Miss Penko here can't identify what it moved. And Miss Penko! We humans have the power to imagine what it was, do we not? We do! Well, I do, at the very least. Miss Penko, on the defendant's command, move the body on the operating table. Penko, did you really move Miss Slick's body? This is really important. Isn't there a way you could tell? I don't know. Without an ID tag, I can't tell. Give it up, Wright. The victim's heart stopped. The robot's detective system would be useless. Furthermore, Detective Sykes usually wore her white coat while she was working. She had the jacket with her ID tag on it, draped over a chair in the robotics lab. I wore it for special occasions. In other words, the victim was wearing her ID tag at the time. From the robot's point of view, her body was simply just another object.
Objection!
The longer was equipped with facial recognition system. If she really did move the victim, she would have recognized the body as Dr. Sykes. But she didn't, so that means...
Objection!
Face can be covered with a piece of cloth, a mask, or anything else for that matter. Face was hidden, the robot might be able to tell it was Dr. Sykes. He's right. Summarize. Miss Sykes stabbed her mother near the workbench, then using the robot, she moved the body to the table, where she moved the sword stained in blood. Order. But if that's the case, then I have a question. Why did the defendant move the body to the operating table in the first place? You want a reason? Very well. What? You can't possibly have every explanation. Emotions blind you to the truth. You can learn a lot from our robot friends. Common rational thoughts will open your eyes to the truth in front of you, Mr. Wright. Now then, do you remember with the operating table one special feature? I believe I read the robots can be assembled and disassembled there. Isn't that right? That's right. And to the defendant, who was just a child at the time, the table was like a magic box that could make robots appear or disappear in a second. But in the end, my mom just put her on the operating table and fixed her in a flash. I was so impressed with what my mom did. I even asked her if she would put me on the table and fix me if I ever got hurt. It was like magic to me what she could do. Oh yeah. You can't possibly be suggesting this young shelter had a difficult time distinguishing robots from people. Take a look at Ponko's arm. It was Miss Sykes who bandaged it up like that, But I thought machines had this held in the same way that people do. An adorable, naive mistake. Reminds me of my own grandchild. No way. I refuse to believe it. Miss Sykes made a childish, naive, and cruel mistake. She thought that if a robot could be dismantled and vanished without a trace. But Professor Edgeworth, if you're about to claim what I think you are, I demand you word it delicately as you can. All due respect, Your Honor, all I can do is present the truth as it stands. The reason the defendant moved the victim's body to the operating table.
Hold it!
No, don't say another word. Just stop. Was it mental events? Did she get away with her crime? That can't be true. Order! Order in the court! Order in the court, I say! Edgeworth, she was just a little kid. How can you say such a horrible thing? Horrible? Like I said, you're just green as ever. I came here today as a prosecutor to seek only the truth. No more, no less. My theory is simply the result of rational consideration, a very possibility.
Objection!
But dismantling only the table's function, it can make repairs as well. It's conceivable that Miss Sykes moved her brother's body to the table in order to fix her. I suppose that could be another way of interpreting it. But dismantle or repair doesn't matter either way. What do you mean? After murdering her mother, Miss Sykes may have come to her senses. Perhaps she didn't want to make it appear as if it never happened. That's why she tried to repair her mother. Yes, that's one possible explanation. But we mustn't forget the facts of this case. The victim was observed to fall down after being hugged by the defendant. The body was moved per the defendant's command. These two facts indicate the defendant's guilt, remain unchanged. This just can't be true. Mr. Wright, do you have any evidence to refute the prosecution's claim? Evidence? Right, let's see. I can't think of any. Oof, it's not looking good. But we'll come back next time and see if we can't find any.